to have a CSR Expo on the first week of July. And itong taon na ito, it will be on July 4 to 7. Itong last couple of years talaga has been a major challenge for all of us. And a lot of pressure from the pandemic na dumating para sa atin lahat. Individuals, organizations, and sa buong bansa, and the world itself. Kaya, even though things are improving to a certain extent, meron na naman daw pangalan nung lumalabas ngayon? Arcturus na kumakalat na variant. We just really need to be able to persevere as we go forward. We know that there's long-standing concerns that we are addressing in our country. Things like food security, state of the children's education and nutrition, long-term issues across the board like climate change, poverty, financial inclusion. Lahat ng mga challenges na ito, whether they're old or new, ay talagang kailangan as an organization or different organizations like ourselves in the League of Corporate Foundations to really band together to see how we could as a collective group make something happen so that we can counter the impacts of the pandemic. Last year, in our CSR Expo, ang theme namin was creating the future we need. So this year, we are calling it now from extra to essential. Ito po ay isang logical next step, di ba? Kasi from the future that we are wanting to create, kailangan din natin mag-focus talaga kung what is most important para sa atin, di ba? And so, doing and discerning what is really important is something that we as collectively as organizations and those actually in society need to work on. But to be able to overcome this pandemic, we all need to be faithful to certain criteria that we are collectively going for. And in this particular case, we have as NGOs signed up to the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. Ang Pilipinas, to a certain extent, utilizes also the SDGs when they develop the Philippine Development Plan. And it's important that the corporates utilize a standard like this para malaman din natin ano ba talaga din ang focus, di ba? Kasi kung iba-iba ang ating tatahakin, instead of trying to focus on particular areas, then we can be lost, and our where we put our commitments will not will not make a meaningful impact. So how do we do this? Noting the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, we focus now on concepts. Yung una is corporate social responsibility, CSR. And that's the mandate na ibinigay ng gobyerno para sa amin. CSR, corporate social responsibility, at kung ano ang gagawin ng each individual organization according to their capacities. Example Pilipinas Shell Foundation, we aim for 6 sustainable development goals, one of which is energy, environment, food security, health, and similar to LCF. If I also mention that in LCF, we have, aside from what I mentioned, also disaster resilience and financial inclusion, as part of the key themes that we're aiming for. So all of us make sure that we utilize all of these key themes and then bake the accountability into the actions and make it sustainable in terms of operations in our daily work. Palit muna. So in so doing, it makes corporates, it makes it better. It allows us to better understand how we are impacting our stakeholders. Kasi yun naman pinaka-importante. Kung yung ating mga ginagawa ay talaga bang may positive impact sa aming mga stakeholders. And yun ang aming always the goal that we have. Now there's another concept that we are also looking at, and this naman is from the external lens that is happening now with regards to how we are being looked at, And this is on what is called environmental, social, and governance, or ESG. Ang concept ng ESG ay lumalabas now as a way of measuring kung ano ba talaga ang ginagawa ng mga corporates. And this debate about ESG and whether it is something that will actually drive the change is something that is coming out in a number of areas all across the world. One thing though na ang hinahangad nila using ESG is that the concept of greenwashing. Yeah? Sinasabi, kung anong sinasabi nyo, ginagamit nyo lang yan para greenwash yung inyong mga ginagawa. So we're trying our best to ensure that working through these frameworks, we know what is needed to ensure that what we are actually doing is for the better for all and it has a very sustainable impact.